Welcome to another episode of All in Society. In today's episode, we're going to discuss market moving news for Monday, January 26th, and we have tech earnings on deck. That's right, we have Microsoft, Apple, Meta, and even Tesla reporting by the end of this week. We also have a decision by the Fed on interest rates. So this is going to be a jammed, packed episode. Be sure to read over disclaimer. I am not a professional by any means. As always, do your own research. All right, y'all, welcome. It's another episode of All in Society. I have a couple things that I wanted to discuss, just kind of get us in the right mindset. First of all, hopefully everybody is safe. The weather has been crazy. For myself, I'm from Michigan, so the snow and everything is not anything new to me. But I don't live in Michigan anymore. I'm in northern Mississippi, and it is nothing but a sheet of ice outside right now. So if you guys must travel, make sure you are doing so safely. All right, so before we get into the details of what each stock that we followed did and go over the scoreboards, which is the major indexes, I did want to start with some news that moved the market for today. A lot of reasons why I like doing this, because I like to interact with these large language models for research on the daily, and I hope that you guys do so as well if you're researching a new topic or just want to get a little bit of information or something. I know a lot of times I've gone on here and started looking for recipes to cook and things, new recipes. So just get acclimated to using these. Use ChatGPT, Anthropic. This is Google Gemini, whatever you prefer to get your information. Just double check it. It will hallucinate. You want to get accurate information. So I asked, and this is kind of something daily I'm going to do. I built a trader assistant, really, to help me enter and exit trades, and it's been awesome interacting with Gemini and helping me doing that. And I call it my daily checklist, and it goes over all the indicators that I look for, and it tells me if I have the green light to enter a trade or not. And then I can go to the charts and look at it for myself and then decide to execute and find the options. Or if I want to get into a long-term trade, I could do that as well. And as well, it gives me the entry point and exit hard stop targets to get out if momentum is going the other way. So I do have a Patreon group. It's an online community, All in Society, and it is free to join. So make sure you check that out. The link is in the description of this video. And then if you really want to get busy and see what I'm doing real time when I enter and exit trades in real time, you can pay for the paid version of that. So there's a free version and then a paid version of All in Society. If you're someone interested in options, or if you're interested in learning how I beat the S&P 500's return consistently over the past couple of years, and I don't mean beat by 1% or so, I mean crushing S&P 500's return over the entire year with less than 10 stocks. Some of the stocks that I've picked, we're actually going to talk about it here. Not necessarily a stock or commodity, but if you're interested in any of that information, definitely check out the Patreon, and you should at least join for free, where you'll get these videos directly that's there whenever I post on there. So my top pick for 2026 was gold. Trump is really doing what I expected him to do, and it just creates a lot of uncertainty, a lot of friction, a lot of hesitance, a lot of risk off nature opposed to going gun-ho in the market. Gold is going high, and that higher and higher and creating new highs, and that typically means because geopolitical issues or tensions are at a high. It seems like he wants to take over a new territory each week this year. amongst other things that's going on, throughout the United States and across the globe. So gold is a good hedge on that. I think a lot of people thought Bitcoin was the case, but that has not been the case this year. Bitcoin's back down to that 89, I think it is now, but it was down to 85,000 or so again after that run up. After we thought we were going to get some legislation on crypto, but looks like that's going to be postponed a little bit. But it says gold breaks historic $5,000 barrier for the first time in history. Spot gold GLD, which is a ticker symbol we're invested in, surged past $5,000 an ounce, hitting an intraday high of 5,100. This parabolic move was fueled by a, quote, perfect storm of a weakening U.S. dollar, rising federal debt concerns, and massive rotation into safe haven assets. Okay, next up, the next topic to discuss is big tech earnings gauntlet begins, and we talked about that. Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, and Apple are all reporting later this week. Today, trading was cautiously optimistic. Most tech giants saw dip buying accumulation, though Intel continued to drag the sector down following soft guidance last week. Now, Intel has been a loser, but just of recently, because of some things that are transpiring, Intel is starting to pick back up, but their guidance came back a little soft, and through that trade outside in the cold. All right, number 3, the Canada tariff shockwave. So President Trump sparked volatility by threatening a 100% tariff on all Canadian imports if Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney proceeds with a proposed trade agreement with China. So Trump is using this that big T, that tariff, to do his bidding, to do what he wants, to get what he wants when he wants. How is this impacting the market? Created immediate pressure on the automotive and energy sectors that rely on integrated North American supply chains, further driving the move into gold as a geopolitical hedge. Again, gold was my top pick and will probably remain my top pick. It looks like it's an overbought territory as far as the charts, but the momentum is definitely flowing towards gold. So just be careful out there if you're someone who likes to do puts. NVIDIA, AI infrastructure wins, NVIDIA and CoreWeave. So there was an interview this morning on CNBC with CEO Jensen Huang, and I believe it was the CEO of CoreWeave. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if that was his title. But NVIDIA announced a massive $2 billion additional investment in AI cloud provider CoreWeave. This signaled that the AI build-out phase is far from over, as the companies aim to build 5 gigawatts of AI data center capacity by 2030. And how does this impact the market? It solidified the floor for semi-cap stocks and AI hardware plays like Vertiv, which is one of our companies we're investing in, which benefited from the renewed focus on data center infrastructure. If you're not familiar, Vertiv is in charge of keeping the chips. So those GPUs, those NVIDIA GPUs and other chips, they keep them cool with liquid cooling. Okay, and then they also service the data centers as well. And then last but not least, this one kind of hurt today, rare earth sovereignty, U.S. rare earth. So USA rare earth surged over 10% today following news of a $1.6 billion government-backed funding package. The U.S. Department of Commerce is taking a direct equity stake in the company to secure the domestic supply chain for magnets and minerals used in defense and EVs. Now, China has rare earths in a chokehold. They really control the market. But I was investing in a company, MP Materials, I think is the name of it. Let me get this. Come on. Let me get this right. Yep. MP Materials Corporation. And so the U.S. government decided to back them a few months ago, and shares went crazy last year. Now they are backing, the U.S. government is backing USA Rare Earth. That stock surged but 10%, but unfortunately, MP Materials stock closed down 9% today. So one went up, one went down. So that's pretty much the market moving news that may have impact your investments. If you're invested in some of the sectors and industries and companies that we discussed, I did want to kind of go over a little bit deeper what happened today. And first, before we look at anything else, we look at the scoreboards, and that is the three major indexes: the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the Dow. Now, the Nasdaq we definitely want to watch this week because that is heavy tech, and that's going to have your Nvidias, your Apples, your Microsoft, and those companies that are reporting this week. S&P 500 today closed at 6950. It's a little bit off of that all-time high of 6,986. Closed up 0.5% today. Nasdaq about the same return, closed at 23,601, and the Dow closed up 0.64% closed at 49,412. I'll just highlight some companies. Meta shares are actually positive year to date after moving up 2% today. Looks like it's kind of like we talked about, the buy the dip ahead of earnings. I'm a little hesitant to do such with everything that's going on. I want to hear what Meta and Zuckerberg have to say about the company before I'm jumping ahead of earnings and trying to play earnings. We talked about it. MP Materials was down just under 9% today, but it's still up nice for the year, still up 25% for the year. And look at it. Remember I said it was up a lot. It was up 194% the past year. So that 10% move, shrug it off. AMD, now these are all companies that I'm showing you now. These are all companies that I have options in. If you want to look in exactly what strikes that I have and how long I'm taking them out, the expirations, you can join the Patreon, and that is the paid version for that. AMD hurt my feelings today. They report in 8 days, but their shares were down 3% today. The company I suggest you guys do a little bit of research on, Aurora Innovation Inc. They basically create the brains that are powering these autonomous trucks. And so it's not really your trucks that are going in and out of your city or your town, but more so, I believe it's trucks that are doing these long track runs and very dangerous roads. So take a look at it. It's kind of like Uber in a way. Actually, Uber is one of their partners, and I believe Amazon is one of their partners as well, if research doesn't fail me. Nvidia was down a little over 0.5% today. Apple jumped almost 3% today. Another kind of buy the dip before the earnings. I think a lot of people were getting ahead of that. There was some analysts that were raising price targets for Apple today. I think where it is right now, I'm just going to kind of sit and hold it. I haven't really been trading it with options or anything either. I was waiting for its forward PE to hit about 25 times. It didn't quite get there, but it was below 30, I'm pretty sure. Yep, right at 30 now. 25 times is kind of like a key metric for PE, because every time Apple hit forward PE of 25 times, a year later, share price was higher 100% of the time. I want to say it was like 5 to 10 times that that's happened, maybe like 5 to 8 times that that's happened. I told you about gold. Gold's been on a tear. It is up 17% year to date. DraftKings bounced back, but they are down 11% year to date. Still down 26% the past year. My background's in gaming, so I have a place in my heart for this company. I really think that the company is really misunderstood, and shares are going to bounce back, and they're going to bounce back aggressively. Maybe not this quarter coming up, but they will throughout 2026, I believe. And that is pretty much going to do it. Just really Monday, I just kind of want to get our mind right, get back into what's going to move the market this week. So if you enjoyed this quick video, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe. Please and thank you, and join that Patreon. Check it out. You can join for free. All right, I'll see you on the next episode.